Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Jobless Weebs, number 134.
Yeah.
Hooray! I'm Brian, and with us today,
Even more Mexican.
yay! It actually is kind of a fun thing, like having like a main host and then like a
Co-host,
guest or
yeah.
co-host, but not really because we're always here. I just
That spot
this
is
the designated
is the
seat.
host.
That's
one,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah. For anyone who hasn't picked up on that, but yeah, that's absolutely right. Well, how have you been?
I've been good. Yeah, life has lined up some good things for me. You know, I've been having to change a few life plans. That I'm not much of a planner on the long term, but kind of like on the short term, I do like to plan.
Oh, most definitely.
And yeah, I had to adjust some plans, and fortunately, things have worked out amazingly good.
Oh yeah.
So it's like at this point, I don't know if
things are lining up.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I don't know if it's luck, or if I'm, using all like the luck from
like the
future.
Luck. Oh my. Right. Oh,
but it's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like things are going well from what I've heard.
So we don't know what the future has in store for the channel overall, but we will see. We'll cross that bridge when we have to.
That's right. We will figure it out. Because in the past we have talked about season 2 or something like that. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Definitely. But yeah, other than that, I watch Fallout.
Oh yes, yeah.
The Amazon series, and you know what?
Dude.
All of the adaptations that I've seen of games so far, meaning The Last of Us or Halo.
Yep.
This one is so good.
Really? Okay.
Because the thing is that with The Last of Us or Halo, we have a big lore and a big story, but it's just focused on one person, or like Joel and Ellie, or Master Chief, and they ended up changing some stuff because there are some things in the games that can be done that you cannot have the actors do.
Right.
Or for the plot's sake.
Because of the sheer nature of having it in live action versus a game.
Yeah, but for this one, for Fallout, and I cannot wait to see like old haters. But the thing with Fallout is like you have 122 vaults, and you don't know like a lot of the history of those vaults because. In the games so far, they haven't talked about all the vaults yet. And for this one, they talk about Vault 31, 32, and 33. And, they also include Vault 4, and I think that's it.
Okay.
But the story of Fallout follows three people. Vault Dweller, a member from the Brotherhood, and a ghoul. And the ghoul, that guy's a freaking god.
Yeah. Nice.
And they do give some background from before the Great War, back I think it was the 50s or the 60s, right after the Great Alaska War. And if you're not very familiar with the Fallout lore, like it's okay. You don't need to.
Gotcha.
But this story takes place 200 years after. And if you know a little bit about Fallout, a lot of those vaults were set to open at different intervals in time. So for this one, it's 200. It was not supposed to be open. It was kind of like forcefully opened.
Okay.
And the main character, her name is Lucy. And she is this kind of like a good girl that thinks that the whole world is good, and as long as she is
See.
kind with everyone,
Uh,
everyone will do the same to her.
oh,
And you know,
I see. A very innocent, maybe even naive outlook.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know,
Okay.
from the moment that she steps out of the vault, because she's
Mhm.
trying to rescue her father,
Ah.
because her father was kidnapped, she is encountered with tribulation after tribulation, and she's like, "Hey, let's just talk about this peacefully. No need to use violence." And then just
Oh,
like
I
someone
see.
gets shot at, and she's
Oh,
like, "Why
yeah.
is this happening?" And you know, there
Dude.
comes a point where even her own principles come down crumbling because she sees you know, this is a bit of a spoiler, so I'm sorry.
Ah,
She
oops.
sees that uh her father, who she thought was some a man, a just man and fair, and you know, with a good moral compass,
Mm.
turns out to be that he's not that. And you
Oh,
know, all her principles come down
okay.
crumbling because she's like,
Yeah.
then what is right? Like, how are we supposed to live? Because we were supposed to repopulate United States with no wars, with the perfect utopia, and you know, it's just the perfect dystopia.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you have all of these different factions just fighting each other, and you know, you
Mm.
can't really say there's a good guy or a good side and a bad
Mm.
side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fallout, the whole franchise has been really hammering down that idea. Like, the choices and like the characters you play, it's all about like choices of, oh, like bad to worse, and like how do you like interact with the world in those situations. So yeah, that's incredible. Dang.
So yeah, you know, if we
Ah,
have a chance, I'd like to talk about it.
okay, I'd love to. Yeah, I would love
but
to
but but
myself.
yeah,
Okay.
I really liked it, and that was the part that I especially liked, because it's like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
you can have a lot of people like, oh, it's not like the game, and it's like,
Mm.
you don't know, because
Right.
it's a lot of bolts.
Oh, right,
It's
right.
like,
Well, yeah.
and you know, Baltic was doing some really messed up crap to the people of the Balts.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, to most of them.
Ah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, I think it was a good it was a
Yeah.
good show. At the end, they show New Vegas.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Oh yeah,
So
yep.
you know, I don't doubt that at some point it will
Mm.
cross out with a few, or like it will show a lot more game Easter
Ah,
eggs.
yes, yes. More interactions and encounters.
But
Okay,
it's 8
that's cool.
episodes. All of it is now in Amazon Prime Video,
Oh, okay.
and yeah,
Wow,
no, dude, it was great. I
that's
guess,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, you know, it came out on Thursday, so like
Oh
a couple days
yeah,
ago,
yeah.
and I
I saw a few posts about it, but wow, that's incredible.
yeah. Anyway, how are you, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. Just going through some adult stuff like work and uh figuring out some stuff, but going good overall. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's good when it's. I mean, sometimes it is not, but you know,
Right.
when it's uneventful, sometimes it's like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, it's peaceful,
yeah.
almost too peaceful.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Just gotta like hunker down sometimes. But yeah, yeah, doing good overall. I've been looking to some manga, and I found one where the name is Villager A Will Save the Villainess, something like that, and he's a freaking AK. AK-47. So,
what?
and it's like, yeah, it's explained by he can do alchemy, and it is a reincarnation,
Okay,
reincarnated Japanese, but
so it's like village A of
right,
AK-47,
oh no, oh god,
B
yeah,
of bullets.
oh, right, right, yeah. So yeah. Oh my gosh, it's insane. Like, yeah, he's a cheater.
Dude, I mean, we
He's
have
a freaking
apples on
AK-47.
isekais,
Oh yeah, yeah.
swords and truck coons on
Oh yeah,
isekais as
and a
well.
pig. Not even surprised anymore. So yeah, I've been looking into that and one other well, a few other mangas. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week, I think. Um, for today, we have kind of an odd anime. I want to put it out there. It's an odd one. It's kind of a tragedy, I would say. Uh, and so the anime we'll be talking about today is called Hal, and it's a anime movie. It's an hour long, so it's pretty short, relatively short, and it came out in 2013.
Yeah, it is an original one. Like,
That's right.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, original, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
It is very emotional,
Yes.
and you know what?
Mhm.
It's yeah, I guess it's gonna be especially hard on people that has lost someone
Mhm.
recently, or kind of like at some point,
Yeah. Oh yes.
because
Yes. Yeah.
it
Because it
really
deals with
makes
that
you,
grief and.
yeah, put a a different lens
Mhm.
on this kind of thing,
Yes.
especially because of the twist.
Yes. The twisting in the end. Okay. I gotta put it out there though that some of the things in this movie still doesn't make sense to me. So we're gonna talk about it, and we'll see if we can hash out what the heck is going on
All
in
right,
this
all right.
movie. Oh boy, because yeah, the twist, yeah, it's really really weird. But yeah, we'll get to that. Um, so we start out, and we kind of start out in kind of like a smaller village. Uh, I at least I want to say it's not Tokyo. So yeah, so we see this robot basically, and and this robot is there with like a couple of other people. It's like a doctor or something, and the robot witnesses like a plane crash in the sky. Well, not a crash. Excuse me, an explosion in the sky from this airplane, and it's like really devastating because apparently this boy died on this airplane, and then one of the guys is like, "Hey, Kurumi," and that's a girl that knew this boy, and this like doctor character says, "Hey, you're gonna become this boy, and you're gonna help her like start living again because she's not eating, she's not like having fun, she's not going out or any of that stuff."
Exactly,
Yeah,
because like Kurumi just lost her boyfriend,
yeah,
and the idea is to help her go through this uh, grievance process.
uh-huh,
To the point that she has to accept that it's gone, and that
yeah,
life
yeah,
goes on. Like,
yeah.
um, and this robot, the robot, it's called Q01,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to adopt the name Hall,
Yep.
because Hall was the name of the boy that died on the plane crash.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Hall objective, it's none other than be an emotional support robot.
Exactly.
And at this point he looks like a person, like Hall.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. He
there's
went
no
through
robotic
like.
features or anything whatsoever.
Mhm.
And but his behavior, it's very peculiar.
We start out with that scene where he's basically hooked up, and I want to say he gets one of the Rubik's cube at that point in that house before going over to Kurumi's, the 5x5,
Mm,
and it's really really odd because you see some writing on this cube, but you won't be able to read it until you solve the faces. And so Hal goes over to Kurumi's place, and it's basically a shop. It's like crafts and beads and bracelets and all that jazz in the shop, and it's kind of crowded too. But when he gets there, Kurumi wants nothing to do with Hal, the robot.
I mean,
understandably.
yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
he looks like the dead boyfriend. So
Right? Yeah. I mean,
so like
first of all, who does that?
like yeah,
What the
whomever
heck?
thought of that therapy?
What the heck? That is not a good idea. Seriously. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
He's like, how can we help
Damn.
her? Like, you know, get over her boyfriend's dead. Let's get an android with his face.
And with his face. Right. Oh my gosh. I want to say there's like some other things that some other stories like that, but man, this takes it to like a whole other level. It's like, whoa, man. Yeah, Kurumi, she runs like through the house. She holes up in her little like cubby hole or something. It's like a storage area, I want to say. Yeah. She like goes in there and she slams the door on Hal. Hal comes over and he basically tries to like placate her, like, hey, like, I'm here, and like I want to like do stuff with you and whatnot, and he, to the point where he even starts cooking for her. But it's like
he's really bad at it.
He's better, yeah. He sucks. But he's in it for the long game, right? He's not like put out by this in the slightest. He's gonna try his darndest to like help her through this process.
And the other thing is that,
yeah,
as you know, as a robot, he doesn't have a grasp of a lot of emotions.
Yes, so that's a great
he completely ignores all of these, you know, hints of, you know, Kurumi being upset, not wanting him around. He's like,
yeah,
am I not being a good service of you? Like, is there something else that I can help you with? All right, I'll do some cleaning, I'll do some cooking, because you know, I'm here for support. So I guess that's support, right? Like
support, right?
That's a human thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'll be here tomorrow. Oh, what a freak. Oh man. Yeah.
So yeah.
He's definitely a little off with like empathy and feeling. And of course, as you said, yeah, since he's a robot.
And you know, he's an empty shell.
Yeah.
Little by little, Kurumi is beginning to, I wouldn't say open herself to Hall, but more like at least she could, you know, accept his presence.
Yes, you could say that. Yeah.
Right? Because it was not like, you arrived. Come in, have a seat. Let's have a chat. Like, no. At least she was not put off by him anymore.
Yeah.
And Hall also, little by little, you know, was getting a grasp of Kurumi's kind of like emotions and behavior and what she was going through, kind of like, and you know, her feelings of loss.
Yeah.
Because it has not been long since, you know, the accident happened, right?
Right. Not long at all. Yeah. And of course, there are like a lot of little instances, a lot of little, as you said, like hints with how she's like slowly interacting with Hal a little bit, and gets to the point where Hal, he sees some of the faces on the Rubik's Cube, and they're like the wishes of Kurumi, of wanting to do certain things with Hal, or like certain wishes that she wants fulfilled. And Hal, I'm trying to remember if there's like a pinpoint of him like deciding, but it's like, but he gets to the point where he thinks that if he fulfills these wishes that are written down, then Kurumi will be able to like go through
Move on.
and move on.
Yeah.
And at least process some of these things. And so I think the first one is the giraffe. This is when it started to get like to be a little bit weird for me. Of course, later on there's definitely parts that are way weird for me, but this is where it's like starting to get weird. So it's like this. I don't even remember. So I watched. So it's written down, right? So I definitely couldn't read it myself, but it had like a translation on the top left. Unfortunately, I didn't go back and like pause to see what it said, but it like she wanted the giraffe for some reason. Is what I understand. Okay. Really, really weird. So how he goes over and like he's going around with like little kids, and then he uses some sort of website or some sort of photo thing, and I correct me if I'm wrong. It's like some sort of a sale, but he tries to see how much the giraffe is, but then it's coming up as 0 yen. So nothing, and he thinks for free, right? And so he like he kind of gets in trouble with his assumption, because later on he's at like some sort of
it was kind of like a school, right?
It was a school, yeah, some sort of
or like a
community.
Yeah, kind of like more like a community center.
Yeah, it was a community center. Yeah. Of course, I'm probably not picking up a lot of the different nuances here, but he's there, and the doctor character, he's like, yeah, like, no, like what you did is not right. Like you shouldn't have tried to do that. Of course, he got in trouble for that. If it said 0 yen, maybe it's priceless. Like, what if it's invaluable to that person, and how has to think like, okay, like,
why is he on the website then?
right, and in his robotic thinking, right, it's very like logical, it's very clear cut, it's very like, if this then that, but he has to kind of get out of that and start thinking from the other person's perspective. And
well, like regardless, he took the freaking giraffe.
Oh, right. Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I really need it.
He really needs it. Yeah,
like, and he's carrying the giraffe like all around the village, and Kurumi is like, what the heck are you doing? He's like, that's not what I meant with the cube. Like,
right. Yeah. Oh man, this is all sorts of weird stuff. But I imagine. Well, anyway, despite maybe me not picking up on a lot of the nuances, maybe it's another thing, like they're not quite on the same page also, due to their miscommunication and not really getting to know each other. Well, not really like interacting, from what I understand. But I think it was fascinating how Kurumi, she does leave a note on the near the front saying like, thank you, Hal. But anyway, very, very strange mishaps and misadventures.
Yeah,
to say the least.
We also have some other characters that were part of Hal's life.
Mm-hmm.
They were really bad friendships.
Mm-hmm.
that little by little you came to know that those bad friendships were the cause of a lot of those problems.
Oh yeah.
That led to Hall's death.
Mm-hmm.
Because it turns out that Hall got some financial debt because of these bad friends, and these guys weren't even like his friends.
Oh no,
They were just
yeah,
straight up, taking advantage of him,
yeah,
and of
using him.
his situation,
Hmm.
and they were just there for the money, and they
Yeah,
didn't care anything about Hall, and they were like, hey, how, you're right, I like,
right. And they're like following him
here's the
in.
thing,
Oh
here's the
yes,
thing, because they were like, hey, how, you're right, nice to see you back, and he's like,
right.
no, Hall is dead, I'm an android,
I'm
and
an
they're
android.
like,
Uh huh.
sure, uh okay,
Right,
yeah,
right.
whatever. Like,
Yes.
we
Okay.
used to be really good friends with Hall. We were wondering if you wanna, if you also wanna hang out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're, you're replacing him, right? So I'm sure we can be friends as well. And Hall do spend a little time
Oh yeah,
with them, but
a
this
little bit.
time, uh, the android Hall
Uh-huh.
decides, like, no, no, this might not be a good idea. This might not be a good
Mm-hmm.
call. So,
Mm-hmm.
he walks away.
Yeah.
But if it only were so easy as
Oh, I know,
just
right?
like walking away.
Yeah. We kind of get to know they're kind of like they're still in the background in the town. How he still is trying to spend time with Kurumi. They are now starting to like actually spend time with each other. Maybe a little, still maybe a little bit reluctant on Kurumi's part, but she's definitely warming up to the idea that Hal is trying to like fulfill like her wishes and whatnot. Uh, and we get to see a little bit more background on their relationship, and Hal and Kurumi, they actually did have a few disagreements in the past with some buttons or some trinkets that Hal supposedly sold due to him being not so financially stable, but also not really understanding Kurumi. So Kurumi got upset with Hal, and it's kind of interesting. We're seeing those flashbacks, but it's like Hal is seeing that himself, which was kind of odd.
For now.
For now, yes. So yeah, as the audience, we're a little bit weirded out with this. Maybe maybe it's Kurumi remembering it, or something to do with her bauble. It was like a little red ornament,
Hmm.
uh, but it didn't seem to be all whole because she was tinkering with it, and it was also somehow electronic too. But it was, of course, very, very like precious to her. I got a little bit of vibes like the girl who left through time, how that marble was like the little thing that um, time travel like helped them time travel.
Mm.
Well, anyway, that it's neither here nor there for this one. But yes, then they have an interaction in her little cubbyhole where um, basically it's as if Kurumi is not really accepting Hal, but she gets to the point where she kind of invites Hal into her private, I guess, suffering, you could say. Because Kurumi, she takes him in and then um, kind of shows him the little bauble, and it lights up too. So she like puts it on his chest, think like and explaining that it is kind of like his heart.
Yeah,
Is from what I understood. That's
yeah,
kind of like
yeah, yeah.
the
No, it.
symbolism for there. Unless, like, was there
No,
anything
yeah.
there you
Like
picked up
they
on?
have like a really personal time
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like Kurumi, uh of like showing Hall how to feel.
Yes. Yes. Mhm.
And she just opens up. Kind of like at this point, finally, she opens up with him.
Yes.
The friend
Oh,
comes
yes.
again.
Mhm.
It was not the problem was the friend. Like, yeah, he was a really bad friend, but they were also dealing with some really bad company.
Oh, yes, for sure. For sure.
And the thing is that friend needs money. It's at this point where you think like things are going great because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like Kurumi is opening up, like
Right.
things
Like
are
it's working
working
out.
fine, and it
Mhm.
seems like there's just gotta be something like to make everything fall to the ground again.
So one of the other wishes is the festival, and then they get chased after the festival when they're coming home.
Oh
So
yes.
yes. So yeah, like, and that's the climax. Yes, you're absolutely right. So they go to the festival. Yeah, as we said, things are going really well. She's in a yukata, um, and they're having a great time, and it's like a montage too. So there's like we see a few shots of them just hanging out. Yeah, it is really nice, because she's finally, you know, trying to live, trying to go out, and of course, be that as it may, however healthy or not it is, since it's freaking Hal who's the robot in the place of the boyfriend, which is still not okay. I don't know even why. Oh man, this is just a weird movie all in
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah, as we said, something always bad, something bad always happens, right? So they're coming home from the festival. They had a great time, and they're going across the river. But then, yeah, the freaking idiot friend is like, hey, we're here for you, and they start chasing him, and we see a bunch of other guys too, and so yeah, they're in big trouble now because it seems to be that they're after Hal, right? But um, when they reach them, they're at a river, but then it turns out they're like after Kurumi, and it was so confusing at that time. I was super weirded out because I was like, whoa, they're talking about like selling her.
Yeah,
I was
because at
so
this point
freaked
you're
out,
like
dude.
human Hall, like the
Right,
freak were you
right,
like with
like
what kind of people were you dealing with for
right.
starters? You're like
Yes,
to
yes.
the point that, oh yeah, maybe you don't have money, well, we'll take your girlfriend and
Take
sell
your
it. Like,
girlfriend.
whoa.
Right, and so yeah, like
And it's like,
these are
Hall, you were a piece of garbage, my man.
right. He literally was to be in cahoots with these friends. They go into the river, and he like blacks out. But he starts remembering a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, because he gets into a fight with his friend.
Right.
He's like, you should wake up. Like, you
Right.
should remember. Because it was your fault. And then, he remembers
Yes.
all that
Now
point
this
of
is
view that the robot saw.
uh-huh.
The plane explosion.
Uh-huh.
Hall wasn't in there. You know?
Right. He was the
Hall
one watching.
Hall was watching. Yes,
Yeah.
from a different point of view.
Uh-huh.
But he had a discussion with Kurumi because he was supposed to be there with Kurumi.
Mm-hmm.
It was an opportunity that Kurumi had, and they were just, getting angry, talking back to each other.
Right.
And Kurumi was like, "I'm leaving then, and I'm leaving you." And he was like, "Well, go on then."
Right.
And then that happened, and
Yeah.
he just broke.
Yeah, because Kurumi was the one who died in that plane explosion.
Yeah, and the thing is that he remembered that he breaks again.
Yep.
And the thing is that after all of this happened, the robot that witnessed the explosion, it was the robot that Kurumi's granddad had. And the doctor was like, yeah, this dude, he's broken. He's gonna die. So I'm proposing a solution. Have your robot turn into Kurumi to help him through the grievance process.
Yeah.
And
And that's
and we gotta make Hall. Well, at this point, Hall just reversed into this empty shell, saying like, "No, I'm a robot."
Right. Yeah. He literally couldn't take it. His mind broke and just like reversed everything, so he can like I guess handle it in a broken way. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even handle it because that's
right.
That's the way out that he chose. Just like, no, this didn't happen. I'm a robot.
Yeah.
I don't have feelings, and a lot of time that happens. You've seen a lot of movies, or maybe heard of a lot of people that whenever they go through this kind of process, they just are in complete denial.
Right.
Which is, it's still part of the process.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, that is part of the grieving process. But yeah, and so they somehow so from the beginning of this movie, it's this this plan of the grandpa taking into effect so that Hal can move on. So everything's like flipped and flipped on its head. So crazy. Yeah. I was so weirded out.
And the thing is that after this fight, he goes into kind of like this astral plane on the water, but it's just him finally saying goodbye to Kurumi and to the android of Kurumi.
Yes.
Because she is taken by the river. and his friends are like, yeah, don't go. He's like, listen, dude. He's like, all of this would have never happened.
Yeah.
Like if you would have stayed away from Hall. But at the same time, it's freaking Hall's fault
in the first place.
Yeah. Like he's like, well, if it isn't the consequence of my own actions. And
Yeah.
the fact.
Screw me.
The fact that he was like, oh, I'm a robot now, is like, yes, that doesn't make your problems go away. It just means that your problems are gonna return even stronger, because you are in complete denial on the stuff that happened. It's like, she died. That is really sad.
Right.
It's okay to feel denial. It's okay to feel angry.
Yeah.
And but the way that he handled it was not it. And it was necessary for some intervention to happen, which was Kurumi. Kind of like having Kurumi be the one grieving instead of him, until he finally understood what was happening. Because after that, he decides to change his life completely. Do a 180.
Yeah.
And he is slowly again. He knows that he's a human now, or he has always been a human.
It's always been, right. Oh my gosh. What a guy.
But he has accepted Kurumi's death. And it's not just like, I think he has he forgave himself.
Yeah.
And forgave himself doesn't mean to forget that everything happened. It's kind of like, just don't torture himself with that.
Yeah, I totally agree, and we see that shown by him being able to live in that space that Kurumi, with the shop. So he's now living there, and I thought it was really telling with that shot where he's eating all by himself, and he's at the table and it's empty on the other side, and he's able to live there now and deal with that and have that space empty. in front of him.
Yeah, and especially I forgot
Quite fast.
I forgot the name of the term, but in psychology,
Uh-huh.
there is a term that it's used, for people that they start to reminisce on what they could have done or what they shouldn't have done. I forgot the term, but it was him saying like, oh, if only I wouldn't have gotten into a fight with her, or if only I would have gone with her, so at least the both of us would have died. And those kind of things are things that you don't think like when it's happening, like when it's happening, when you're happy and when you're angry fighting, you don't think like, oh, I shouldn't do this because what if she dies in the next 5 minutes?
Oh,
Right?
right. Yeah. So it's after the fact.
Yeah, it's after the fact.
And okay. Yeah, I don't know the name myself, but
it was this thing because it's like, dude, it's like whether if you were like leaving her on good terms or not, maybe the plane was going to explode either way. It's not like the plane was like, oh, this dude had a fight with his girlfriend. I think I'm going to explode. Because it's like, no, like those were external factors that he had no control over. And the thing is that he was, punishing himself, that he regrets to Android Hall because he was like, no, the plane exploded because of me, or she died because we had a discussion and I
so it's karma.
sent her to
I deserve this.
Yes.
Okay.
Which that was not the case, and at the end of the movie he understands that it was it was not his fault that the plane crashed, but it was both of them the discussion, because it's not like there's only one to blame.
They were both angry at each other.
And that caused something sad, but it was not up to him, and he changed his ways, which that's the takeaway.
It is.
It's like change your ways, because like you don't know that there have been other movies where like tragedies happen, and the main character still doesn't learn and ends up having like a even worse fate.
Absolutely.
So yeah, kind of like the overall of this movie was like, it's go through the grieving process and kind of like forgive yourself, and know that you can always change.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And letting yourself go through that emotional roller coaster, whatever it may look like, and for how now that we look back at the rest of the movie and the different things that Robot Hal goes through, he had to understand that he has emotions and to go through that. Incredible. Still it was odd. Still,
it was
weird.
Still a little odd because especially those Rubik cubes, and like that that was a sign of a really lovey-dovey couple,
right?
But I've seen it a lot. Like this sounds kind of sad. I have not experienced it myself, but I have a friend, really really good friend. I love that guy, but he was in a relationship that he was really lovey-dovey with his girlfriend, but he was breaking up and reconciling like every other day.
Okay.
Yeah, that is, you would see them and they're like, oh honey, and all that, like no, that's too much. And then he would come back and I was like, hey dude, how are you? Like, good. I broke up with my girlfriend. And I was like, damn, like, are you alright? Yeah, I'm good. And then the next day it's like, we reconciled. And I was like, hey, I'm happy for you, but for the next months, it was dude, and I was like, dude, come on, like,
okay.
Don't say you broke up with her if you're just like having an argument and not talking to each other, because that's normal.
Right. That is right. Yeah.
But good guy. He's a good guy.
Oh, okay.
He got married with her actually.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
Okay.
things got better. They learn to communicate a lot better.
Oh, there you go. There you
I think they have 2 kids now, so it's like. But oh man, yeah. Good guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it. You know how.
Yeah.
It was a great movie. I remember like the first time I watched it, I did cry a little bit on
yes.
when you hear about the twist and you're like,
Oh yes, yeah.
oh my life has been a lie.
Right.
Yeah, because
right.
it completely changes everything.
Right, yeah.
It's like,
Freaking
how is it that a freaking robot had
Yeah.
a way to express the grief that Hal should have felt?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really, really fascinating now that we think of Kurumi as a robot. And she was still like she seemed very human all around. So yeah, incredible. Yeah. So that's what they meant when they said that they were going to sell Kurumi, because they knew what was up, huh?
Yeah,
They knew
yeah,
that she was the android. Oh my gosh.
But still
doesn't make it
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Doesn't make it right or okay, but now it makes sense that they're still shady, but not like human trafficking or well.
Right, but still, robot
Still,
trafficking.
they're still shady.
It's like
it's still bad,
yeah, not cool. Cause
and it doesn't even mean that they don't or haven't done it, but still.
I
weird
guess
movie.
one
It
of the
was
other
great.
stories
I
is
still
like, yeah,
it,
you know
but
what, like choose
still.
your friends better.
Oh yeah, that's another takeaway. Yes, that's right. I'm kind of reminded of Ex Machina, the movie with the android.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kind of remind me more of like
Yeah.
Plastic Memories.
Oh yes. Okay, now yes. Yeah, and there's a lot more themes and similarities from those two. That's for sure. Dude, Plastic Memories. Oh my gosh, that was like wow. Oh man, yeah, that was a very sad one.
Oh, but yeah, this was all for this week. Keep watching anime, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. At today.
At the name.